Today I want to talk about my favorite bands, not my all-time favorite bands, but 10 bands that I actively listen to right now that I love. So let's get going. My idea for this video was spawned from the last 3 videos that I did that were also my best performing videos. Based on those 3 videos, a lot of people asked, well, what are your favorite bands? Because I've talked about the bands that I don't like. So what are my favorite bands? So that is what I'm going to talk about today. So these are not in any particular order, but I will say that the back half, the latter of the bands that I'm going to talk about here, are at the top right now. They're the bands that I'm listening to the most. Now these are bands that I still actively listen to. My favorite bands, 10 of them that on a regular basis I still listen to. Like I said, the other one was kind of like milestone bands, you know, my 10 favorite bands or 10 bands that changed my life. Like it started off with Van Halen in 1978, Iron Maiden, and went all the way up through to today and what I listen to. So it was kind of like, you know, like these milestone kind of periods of my life where I had a favorite band at that given time. That's what that video was about. This one is about bands that I am actively currently listening to on a regular basis that I think they're my 10 favorites. So I think they're the best. Anyway, band number 1. Ever since 1991, Alice in Chains. I love Alice in Chains. I love everything about them. They're super heavy. They're dark. Obviously, Lane's vocals, you know, but Jerry Cantrell, I mean, he just writes the heaviest, grittiest, dirtiest riffs, and they just ooze like this raw power. And I love them. Even after Lane passed away, I mean, Dirt's my favorite record from them, hands down. But the last 3 that they did are really fucking good. Black Gives Way to Blue, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, and Rainier Fog. They are all phenomenal. And Rainier Fog, their last one they did, God, that was 2018, I think it was. Incredible record. It's just a very stripped back, just awesome record. Black Sabbath. Yeah, I know it's cliche, Black Sabbath. Everybody loves Black Sabbath. I listened to Black Sabbath for my whole life. My oldest brother is a huge Black Sabbath fan, so I kind of listen to them more by association. Up until a handful of years ago, I can't really pinpoint when, but I've always listened to them. I've had a few of their records, but the last, 4 or 5 years, I've really started to listen to Black Sabbath way more than I ever have in my life, and they are just. I mean, it's Black Sabbath, you know, they're so heavy. They're the godfathers. They're the originators of heavy music and metal. Nobody has ever matched what they were able to do. People came close, people mimicked them, they did their own spin on it, but Black Sabbath is still you know, the one. They are the only. Superheaven. Now, Superheaven is a lesser known band, and I have been raising my Superheaven flag for about 10 years now. Superheaven, I believe they are from Pennsylvania. It's a 4-piece band. They're a shoegaze. They're kind of a heavy shoegaze band. So if you're not familiar with that, heavy shoegaze, it's really sludgy, heavy guitars, clean vocals, obviously kind of like a somber mood, very, very moody lyrics, but just heavy, slow tempos, driving. They're fucking awesome. If you've never heard Superheaven, they have 3 records out. They are all incredible. So I've been talking about Superheaven for years, and people are like, yeah, but I'll check them out. They're one of those bands that you're like, you should check these out. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Anyway, I'm going to go see them last May, I think it was, or June. Incredible show. Great band. Superheaven. Check them out. Hum. Now, I had a big gap with Hum. You know, of course the song Stars came out in the 90s, and that was my introduction to Hum. And I love that song. It was always a standout, and I love that record, but I didn't listen to it. I wasn't a fan back in the 90s. I just liked some of their stuff. I became a fan probably in the last 10 years. I really started listening to all their music, and they had not put anything out for years. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I think it was 2020, they released Inlet, which is one of my favorite records ever. If you have not heard Inlet by Hum, You have to listen to Inlet. You absolutely have to. It is one of the best records ever. It almost has parts to it like almost like an Alan Parsons kind of, or not Kansas, like Blue Oyster Cult kind of vocals to it. I mean, like Fear the Reaper, it almost has those kind of style vocals to it. It's phenomenal, but it's really heavy. Anyway, Hum, awesome band. This is a little bit of a departure from the other band. You can kind of see I kind of have a common thread with slower, heavier music, really sludgy. This band is from Canada. It's a punk band called Propagandhi. Propagandhi is just brutally technical. They're like a super mathy, almost metal punk rock band. Super political. I'm not really political at all, but I love their music. They just go against the grain. They fight for what they believe in, but their music is just, there's no other band like Propagandhi. If you've never listened to Propagandhi and you like punk or you like hardcore or even metal, you have got to check them out. Every single record is incredible. Now, I will go back. The last record they did, they put it out like 6 months ago. I still am not a big fan of that record. The first one I kind of lost touch with. They changed. They were not the same band after the first record. They've kind of stepped into who they were more instead of kind of writing that first punk rock record. But Propagandhi, check them out. Quicksand. Quicksand, the album Slip in particular, is one of my favorite. Fuck. God damn it. See what happens? Do you see what happens? If the camera angle looks different, I just kicked my tripod and knocked everything over. So, good job. Quicksand. I'll start over with Quicksand. Now, if you were into punk at all or hardcore in the 90s, you probably heard of Quicksand. Quicksand was labeled as a post-hardcore band. They came out of nowhere from New York. Kind of mid-tempo, heavier stuff. The singer, Walter, was in Gorilla Biscuits, and they all kind of came from different bands that came together. They changed my life. That record, Slip, absolutely changed my life. I was just kind of coming into my own as a musician, as a drummer, and trying to find my way. I kind of had things that I liked and things that I was doing that I was trying to like work on and like improve upon stylistically. And when Slip came out, it was like the seas parted, and it was just this. It was just everything that I wanted to be as a musician, not just as a drummer, was this record, was Slip. And it changed my life. Still to this day, it is one of my biggest influences in my 38 years of playing drums. Slip by Quicksand, one of my all-time favorite records ever. Gojira. Now, I've been listening to Gojira for probably about 10 or 12 years. I discovered them late when they released Magma, which is it was really heavy, but it wasn't as death metal. They were a full-on death metal band, like bludgeoning, double bass, just rip right through you kind of death metal. And they softened up a little bit. I shouldn't say they softened up. They stripped it way back and made a much heavier, more pulled back, reserved record for them. I think for me to find Magma, to introduce me to their whole back catalog, it was like the perfect thing. So they've gotten a little bit lighter, a little bit more accessible, I think, for mass consumption. But then they hit the Olympics. And if you aren't familiar with Gojira, they were the metal band that played on the side of the castle at the beginning of the Olympics in the opening ceremonies, talking about Marie Antoinette and getting her head chopped off and the streamers that looked like blood, and everyone called them satanic. That's one of the heaviest songs that they've written in years. And the world was introduced to Gojira by that. And it was one of the best moments ever for heavy music. But that's who Gojira is. So go listen to all their other shit that's waiting there that will rip your face off. Spotlights. Spotlights is, originally they were a New York band. Now they're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But Spotlights is a husband and wife. Mario, who is the guitar player and the vocalist. Sarah, who is the bass player. And she is like the thunder queen with her bass. Like, it's like, go! It's like teeth shattering, bones crumbling kind of heaviness. And then their drummer, Chris. Chris came into the band later, and he's a fucking incredible drummer. He was kind of their touring drummer. Now he's become a member of the band, but Mario, the singer, used to play all the drums on their first few records, and he is an incredible drummer. Like really, he's a drummer from a different kind of mindset. He comes from more of a songwriting, and guitar background and plays drums on top of it. So it's kind of got a different feel. Some of his patterns are just really unique. They are just super heavy, really faint vocals in the back, really kind of wispy and airy vocals, and then just this wall of heaviness and really melodic. Love Spotlights. Deftones. I love Deftones. I discovered them in 1997. I was on tour. I heard the song My Own Summer, and we were driving, and it was late at night. I think it was a Sunday night, if I remember correctly. And college radio was coming in and out. The signal was coming in and out, and that song came on. And I was just sitting in the back of the van. I was like, who in the fuck is this? And as soon as the song was over, we lost reception for that radio station. It took me 6 months, and a friend of mine, the guitar player in the band that I was in, Brian, came up. He's like, I found that band. And I put that CD in, and I didn't stop listening to it for like a year. I mean, it was like, and then White Pony came out. Deftones is still, they are one of my favorite bands. They are probably my favorite band. And their last record they just did a few months ago, it's just fucking incredible. Private Music is what it's called. I mean, it's their 10th record. They've been around for 30-something years. Phenomenal band. I love Deftones. So right now, probably my favorite band that I've been listening to like nonstop is a band called Brutus from Belgium. They're a 3-piece band. They used to be a refused-only cover band. And it was the guitar player and the drummer who was also the singer. And so anyway, Peter's the bass player. Really tasteful, super heavy, thick, kind of distorted tone. Stan is the guitar player. Their drummer / vocalist, Stephanie, she is earth-shattering. It's fucking incredible how good she is. Her vocal style, it's like that kind of like from the soul, it's like from your toes. She sings with so much power and so much grit and such raw energy, and she plays drums the exact same way. She's amazing at both. It's not just her. Live, she kind of takes the show. I mean, to watch her sing the way that she sings and nail it and hit all the drum parts, she is a badass drummer. She's just inventive. She doesn't do anything super technical, but she is just such a great drummer, so solid, such an amazing singer, like goosebumps all the time. Check out Brutus. Unison Life, I think, is pretty much the perfect record. If that album doesn't blow you away, song for song, there's not a single skip on the whole record, then you're dead. Okay, you're dead inside. You're not a music fan. I think that does it for this. What are your favorite bands? Who do you like? What kind of music do you like? Do you like the kind of stuff that I like, kind of sludgy, heavy, darker stuff? That's what I love. So anyway, who's your favorites? Well, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, later.